Welcome to the 9th edition of Detour. Last week, I checked out the Kochikade area and boarded a Navy ship in the Colombo port. And this week, I'm taking you to the 138th world-famous Battle of the Blues, the legendary cricket match between Royal and St. Thomas, and one of the longest-running cricket encounters in the entire world. Cricket is not a popular sport in America, to say the least. We like to watch baseball, which is a more boring version of cricket, basketball, and American football, which is a more boring version of rugby. Because of this, I really had no idea about cricket or the culture that goes with it. That all changed last Friday. When I got inside, I was struck by the sheer number of people, the volume of the noise, and the very unbalanced gender ratio of the fans. So in order to get my bearings, I decided to speak with Iresh, a royalist who graduated about 5 years ago. He told me that he wouldn't miss the match for anything, and that these are his favorite 3 days of the entire year. He said some other things about partying and carrying on that I can't repeat here, but suffice it to say that Iresh made me aware of the main goal of the Battle of the Blues: to have a good time. As I walked around and spent more time at the match, I found that the action on the field was completely secondary to the partying in the grounds and in the stands. I went for a Sri Lanka-Australia ODI in August, and most people there cared about watching the match, so I was somewhat surprised by the arrangement here. But at SSC, people were intent more on chanting, marching, listening to music, and eating and drinking than they were on watching the match. This was best demonstrated by the 3 p.m. tea break, when fans are allowed on the field. It was a scene of complete mayhem, as Royalist Centomians led various chants and marches, while older uncles staggered this way and that. There were even imported Russian female dancers / cheerleaders who made their rounds on the pitch, taking pictures with rowdy supporters. Nobody seemed to know the score, but everybody assured me that their side would win. For me, the match felt more like a music festival than a sports contest. During the tea break, I found myself a few old boys who thought themselves dancers, and I happily joined in with my signature moves. These guys were immune to embarrassment, gyrating here and there, and I did my best to keep up. I can't say I'm a good dancer, but these guys really put me to shame. I bet they were competing with the Russian women in back of us. After trying out my moves, I climbed to the top of one of the grandstands and made my way inside a section that had a full band playing. Though some people were dancing, most were actually watching the game, although with a somewhat exhausted look in their eyes. I myself was feeling pretty tired, so I ventured outside the SSC grounds to catch a breather and talk to some vendors. These guys had more merchandise than they could hope to sell, and when I asked what they would do with the extra stuff, they laughed and said they would redecorate the hats to sell at forthcoming big matches. One guy who made hats was nice enough to invite me to his workshop in Bataramuga. My last excellent experience at the match was being interviewed by some royalists for a special video they were making about the game. They asked me about the spirit fans of both sides displayed during the match, and I replied that I'd never really seen anything like this mix of decadence and sport. People have a good time at sporting events in America, but we don't have reunions, concerts, food festivals, and sports happening all at one time like this. It was truly illuminating and enlightening being at the match, and I must thank both sides, Royalists and Tomians, for being so gracious while hosting me. Come back next week for the 10th episode of Detour.